What's going on, family? Franchise J. Claxton, Dr. Kaz Vaughn. This is After the Show. What's going on?
Nothing, another day alive.
Okay.
I just actually heard our guest say that and thought about, how significant that statement is because most people don't realize that tomorrow's not promised. There's no need to hold on to grudges. You should always make your wrongs rights. And you have to be accountable for the things that you do because you never know when it's your last moment. And in greeting our guest, it was interesting that he said, "Hey, I'm good, another day alive," because that statement is more powerful than most people understand. It's more powerful than most people know because another day alive means a lot. Anything could happen in the next second, and you have to think about all of the things that you didn't do, the things you didn't complete. You used to say, "What are we waiting for?" And that's a question that I always ask, especially in our life. What are we waiting for? Today, at the tender age of 96, icon, civil rights leader, activist, entertainer, someone who paved and carved the way even for us to be able to be on a platform such as this by the side of his incredible wife and his daughter. Harry Belafonte passed at the tender age of 96. And, we really, truly lost an amazing human being.
Right. Like you just said, sometimes we take time for granted. And it's the most precious commodity in life because you can't ever get it back. You can get everything back but your time. So gotta make sure you use your time wisely. And, somebody such as Harry Belafonte has done that, in his years. I mean, paved the way, music, movies, that sort of thing. He really paved the way for us and really went through it when it was really hard for us to go through it. He was able to, push through and be a trailblazer. So, his life should be really celebrated for the things that he was able to do for us as Black people, for us, for the culture. Back then, it's still for the culture, even back then. So, may he rest easy.
Yes, absolutely. On a more happier note, Jamie Foxx is awake and alert, and that is so incredible. He is incredible talent as well, and just again, another day alive. He went to work and never knew that he was going to suffer from his health challenge that he did that actually took him out. And so I'm happy for his family. I'm happy for all of his loved ones, his friends, and anyone who had to witness that on set. Jamie Foxx is alive and doing well. Right. I was reading a story today and it warmed my heart so much because a 16-year-old teen out of New Orleans applied to 200 schools.
Okay.
Was accepted to 125.
Okay.
And has broke the record of receiving the most amount of money in scholarship. Okay. His goal was 10 million, but he has to date received 9 million in scholarship money and is basically headed to whichever college he decides he wants to.
Oh,
he has to decide from 125 schools.
Congratulations. That's big. And, he's definitely better than me because I didn't get accepted to none.
Oh, you did get accepted to a college because you went to college.
Oh, wait, for a second.
Did get accepted.
For a second.
And did you hear that President Joe Biden has decided that he has not finished his job and he wants to be reelected in 2024. He officially started his campaign today.
So I'm be honest, I think we might just need to get out of here. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. I just don't know what candidate to deal with or whatever the case may be. I see flaws in all of them, to be actually honest with you. But speaking of not having any flaws, right? And this is a perfect segue for our guest today. Lakers over Memphis, 117-111 in overtime. LeBron took Dillon Brooks to the cup, left when Dillon Brooks said earlier during the season that I just got to play him, and make him go left. He's weak. He got to get a ball up. He went to the basket, finished. At the end of the day, the Lakers showed ready to get Memphis out of here and move on to the second round of the NBA playoffs, which is a great segue to our guest today. Our guest today went to the University of Tennessee. Our guest today played overseas. Our guest today played in the NBA. Our guest today
played for one of my favorite teams of all time.
What?
Golden State Warriors.
Oh, I thought you was great to say.
Well, he did.
No, you didn't. I thought you was great to say the Boston Celtics.
I said one of mine.
Oh, okay.
I said one of mine.
Right.
Not my favorite. One of mine.
Okay. Yeah, because I knew he didn't play for those guys.
That's not what I said. I said one of mine.
No, he didn't play for those guys.
Yeah. So I'm excited. We have CJ Watson today. He's doing incredible things in the community. What I admire about him is that we always talk about once an athlete or once an artist or once an actor or entertainer gets into the industry, who guides them? What I appreciate about CJ is one very important thing. His guidance, his grounding all comes from the lessons that his parents taught. And even though he's a successful player, he's done everything, he's traveled the world, the one thing that he has done is he's used those lessons that his parents conformed in him. And I said conformed. Okay. I said conformed for a reason.
Okay.
Conformed into him so that now he's paying it forward and he's passing those blessings back. And he has not one, not two, but 4 books.
Okay.
He has an incredible foundation. And after the break, we'll talk with him more about his books. We'll talk about the meaning behind each one of them, which off camera, speaking with him, it just pulled, especially as a parent, it pulled to my heartstrings. And we'll talk about his career. And of course, I know you're going to want to talk to him about some sports.
Yep, definitely. Right back here. So stay tuned, man, after the show. Right here after the show, Jay Clax, Dr. Kaz Vaughn, and our guest for today. Would you like to do the introduction?
No, I'll let you.
Okay. So again, man, I don't know if you've seen, maybe about 2 minutes ago.
That's not introducing him.
Let me do my thing, please. Yeah. So listen, athlete, story writer, entrepreneur, community activist, none other than my guy, CJ Watson. What's up, family? How you feeling?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Fantastic, man. What you got going on over there in the good Las Vegas, Nevada?
Nothing much. It's hot today, a little windy, but like I said, it's just great to be alive today and talking with you guys.
Right.
Man, I appreciate it. Listen, so I was doing research today. I was actually doing my Tuesday morning ritual. And CJ, as you get to know me, one thing you'll know is I know stuff that you'd be like, why does she know this? Like,
right.
Random
right.
information. That's what I am, right? So I was thinking today, right? Did you guys realize that New Year's Eve this year is 1-2-3-1-2-3?
New Year's Eve.
1-2-3-1-2-3.
Hold up. So
12-31-23. 1-2-3-1-2-3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, yo, this doesn't sound right.
12-31. I know, and that's random. I'm telling you, I know random information. I don't know.
I'm gonna use that joke with some people that I know. Give him a fun fact.
I know. Fun facts. Did you know that this year it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and next year it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4.
Yeah, you have too much time on your hands.
No, I need more time on my hand. I wish I had it. So, CJ, tell us about your books. You have 4 books.
Yeah, 4 books. Yeah.
And what I was saying in the introduction initially was the thing that really drove us to want to speak with you is that even though you've been in the NBA and traveled the world and done a lot of great things, you are grounded and your foundation comes from your parents.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, 4 books. They all have different meanings, different themes. To be honest, I never really wanted to be an author. It was just something that I would just sit on the couch. I said, how can I continue to tell my story and still inspire kids? And that's when I said, hey, kids need to read. Why not make some stories and put them in books? And then one thing about me, I want to tell true stories. I don't want to tell anything fabricated. So that's how the books came about. I reached out to one of my old coaches, and he was an author also. So I asked him for some advice and information, and he told me what path to go down, and that's how I got to to be an author, children's author. And like I said, it wasn't never really something I dreamed of doing or wanted to do. It just kind of popped in my head, and once I start a vision or idea, I kind of want to see it through and finish it.
Right, got you. So let me ask you this: by you being an author, and like I've rolled past a Barnes and Noble, and they moved out a big store to a smaller store. Mm-hmm. How is that? Like, as you being an author, are you selling more hard copies? Are people going into Barnes and Noble actually buying a hard copy and having it in their hand, or they're Amazon, they get it delivered, or they are reading your books online? Like, how does that work?
So it's a little mix of everything, really. For me, I never really sought to be an author for financial gain. I just, like I said, just wanted to tell my story and inspire kids. And most of the people buy my books on Amazon or like a Kindle type copy, because a lot of people read off the Kindle. I don't read Kindle, but a lot of people do. And then also they just go to my personal website. So I think between those things, I get a little mixture of everything. Like I said, I'm not selling millions of copies. I wish I was, but hopefully one day that'll come to to light. But like I said, maybe 20 copies a week, which is cool with me. Like I said, at least the young kids are buying the books, and the schools that I go to say, hey, I read your book, I liked your book. And to me, that's really all that kind of really matters.
Right. So you visit schools and you go talk to kids. How is that interaction? Because, I DJ, I don't know if you know that about me, but I'm a DJ, by career. And I go into schools and teach kids. I have a DJ program and teach kids how to DJ. And it's funny kind of to see how each kid works and maneuvers, and some are really, really locked in and focused, and some are all over the place. Like, how is that interaction with you and the kids in the schools that you go to?
It's great. Like I said, I think the biggest thing for me is that I have on my side is I played in the NBA, and everyone wants to meet a professional athlete, I feel like. And once they say that, or once the people that introduce me say that, they lock in, like you say, and they're really interested in what I got to say. And then that's when I go to hit them with the books and tell them about how they need to listen to their parents and listen to the teachers and just work hard. Because I had a dream. I was sitting in their position one day just like them, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I took a chance on basketball, but I was dedicated to it. I sacrificed a lot, and eventually the gain was just being able to do what I want to do, but also be successful at it.
Right. So when we talk about sports, we talk about your career, and I kind of looked through, and you went to the University of Tennessee, you played in some other countries, and you played in a bunch of teams in the NBA as well. Your best experience for whatever team, like what team was the best? Did you have the best season and best experience?
I would say the Chicago Bulls. We had the best record in the NBA for 2 years in a row. We lost to a guy named LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Final, so it was kind of hard to beat him. But I think that was the best for me personally. I love the city of Chicago. The team was great. My teammates, the coaches, everything about Chicago was great to me.
Right. We love Chicago, and it's kind of, you played in that building where one of the greatest basketball players that ever played the game. statue right in front of, as you walk the building. So that had to make you feel a certain kind of way.
Yeah, for sure. And I grew up watching Jordan, but my GOAT is Kobe. So, but I love Jordan too, and I love Jordan. But it was a lot of pressure playing for them because they want to get those glory days back, and they want to feel the championship aura. But like I said, we were close. We didn't get it done. But I definitely, the fans and everything in that city was the energy is crazy.
Yeah, I love Chicago. Tell me, what are some of the lessons that a kid can find in book number 4?
Book number 4, just to travel the world. I was lucky enough to travel to Italy with my mom when I was 16 to take a trip to play basketball, and just to see a different culture, to learn a new language, to see how other people live. And for me, a lot of people in my neighborhood in the inner city didn't have ever left Vegas, probably still to this day. So it's just great to get out and see the world. I think that's the best experience, is to get out and see the world, and also just a lot of other gyms in there, superstitions, just about working hard. Like, don't believe in magic socks and all that kind of stuff. You are your own magic. You gotta work hard, put the work in, and after that, you'll see success.
Right. It's funny when you talk about Vegas and the hood. We never see that when we come to Vegas.
Cause y'all on the strip, that's why I'll take y'all there.
Okay, yeah, because even when we go downtown, I'm like,
downtown, that's not the hood, yeah.
I'm like, hood in Vegas, man, this look like, mountains and desert and big lights.
Yeah, y'all go to the touristy spots. I'll take y'all to some good black, hole in the wall where it was good food, good people.
Okay, yeah, we really do need that, because sometimes, strip, if you ain't packed up, if you don't have a whole lot of money, it could be.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
It can be a long vacation.
Yeah, and it's tempting to gamble, and they're gonna take your money.
Right. Well, I do love gambling. I definitely do. Who was the best player that you ever played with?
That's tough. I played a lot of great players. I would say like D Rose is probably up there when he won the MVP. Baron Davis, Darren Williams, Joe Johnson. I played with a lot of great players. So it's like I said, it's a lot of guys up there, but those guys will probably be at the top of my list.
Right. Derrick Rose seemed like he put so much pressure on his legs and ankles, and from his cuts and how aggressive he played. It was different. When you talk about all the things that you accomplished, what's the biggest misconception about being, in the NBA?
The biggest misconception?
Well, because everybody think that you're in the league, that you're a multi-millionaire, you got a big mansion and a bunch of cars and all of that.
I think that would be one of the main ones, that everyone's rich, everyone's wealthy or whatever. There's a lot of people who, athletes do make a lot of money, I think, but also a lot of athletes don't save. So I think that's the biggest thing, just trying to get athletes to save and build for generational wealth and things like that. And I think that's what I'm kind of big on, just trying to leave a legacy, not for myself, but also for my kids and the next ones, and also just the next generation growing up to do better than I did and make better choices and decisions. That's what we are in the process of, working on ourselves, because a lot of times we aren't taught that. Mm-hmm. In our communities, for sure.
Not everybody, not everybody, but I wasn't necessarily taught that. I do think CaSay's kind of upbringing and the way our parents were, it was different. You know what I'm saying? But not everybody has that. Gets that information in. I didn't respect it. I just, money, I'll get it, and I'll get it again.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I need to be buying assets, and I need to be, investing so I could double and triple my money,
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's like you said, it's not taught in our generation, in our communities. We're not taught about life insurance and all that kind of stuff, and that's one of the main ways and reasons people pass on, wealth and income. So I think that's a big thing, like you said, investing, stocks, and all that kind of stuff. We never learned about it. I think it should be taught in schools. That way, these kids will be learning about it and all this kind of stuff. Debt, credit cards, like that stuff should be taught in schools. It's more important than, I feel like, math and science and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. That's just me.
I know. I agree. You're absolutely right. Because I find that it's ridiculous that kids don't even know how to write a check any longer.
Yeah, my mom taught me how to write a check. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, it's stuff like that. They don't know how to sign their name because everything is on a computer or everything's on their phone. I think those types of things, you know, for the public school system, because in a private school system, of course, you are afforded other, you know, things. But I think that is terrible that those are basic skills that you should know. You don't know how to balance a checkbook, which means you don't know how to balance your account. You rely on an app to say, I spent this amount, instead of knowing I spent this is what should come out, I should have this left. You should know that before an app tells you that.
Right.
So I completely agree. CJ, I have to tell you, it has been incredible speaking with you today. I am looking forward, even though I'm not a child, to support and read your books. You know, I remember, I believe you said book number 2 was about bullying, correct?
Book number 3 is about bullying. Book number 2 was about education and getting good grades. And the first book is about dreaming big and just accomplishing goals. And that's how I got to know you.
Got you. So what I wanted to ask you was, in especially with bullying being such a high topic in our society, kids go to school and they're excuse me, they're bullied over their shoes, they're bullied over their clothes, they're bullied over not having the newest computer Jordans. Or you know. So with that said, have you found that the message that's in that book has been effective to those who have kind of read it and, you know, understand it?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I want to tell true stories and stories that kids can relate to, and all these things that I think I went through my life. I think kids these days are still going through the same things, just maybe in a different manner, like you said. But bullying is a hot topic, and kids are getting bullied day in and day out, and that leads to other stuff, suicide, and, you know, bringing guns to school and all this kind of stuff, which things we can kind of put to the forefront. So I think I'm just trying to give them a different way to handle bullies in a positive manner. So I think, like I said, the book is good in my eyes. I like it, and I think it tells the story of handling bullies in a positive manner, which that's what kids need today.
So, and I want, this is for both of you, because I feel like we grew up in a different time. Now, granted, we didn't have phones and it wasn't so much access, but we went through bullies, and some people got bullies, some people were the bullies. Yeah. But we went through all of that, and that made us, you know, we survived. We didn't go to school and bring a gun to kill anybody, or we didn't think about killing ourselves. And
that's not true.
You know,
that's not true. I'll say that growing up, we didn't hear as much gun violence, right? But I cannot say that there weren't people who wanted to commit suicide. I can't say that was a factor. I can't.
Well, it wasn't on the forefront like it is. You don't hear, it's not as prevalent. It wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
I wouldn't say it wasn't as prevalent, maybe not. We didn't know about it, and that's because we didn't grow up in a social media society. We grew up in a society that if you wanted your neighbor to play, you told them in school, or on their way home from school, you said, hey, let's come out, you know, and play. Or you walked down the street and you rung the doorbell, or you knocked on the door. We, as though now we have this little thing here where in a matter of 5 seconds, the whole world knows you don't have nice shoes, or you may not have the money, or the message is right there.
No, I definitely know that. We've talked about that, just trying to figure out how do we make our kids, or, you know, the young generation a little stronger. You know, I think that's something that we should try to do, because I just feel like sometimes they don't do, you know, tough situations.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I think it's an ever-going question. I feel like even the way that we grew up, getting whoopings and all that stuff wasn't good for us. It's not. It wasn't good mental health for us. But we still survived for it. But like I said, at the end of the day, probably could have made us better if we weren't getting whoopings. I don't know. But like I said, I think every generation is different. I think it's going to be an ever-going conversation on what's the right way to discipline a child or how to make things better. But like I said, I don't know. I just try to be the best that I can and raise my kids the way I was raised, but also, into this new era that they're going into to be concerned about their mental health, to be concerned about what they think about me or their friends or teachers or whatever but also just be able to communicate. I think that's the biggest thing is just communication. That kind of kills a whole bunch of narratives that we are going into. So I just tell my oldest at least, just to communicate and be open and have an open conversation. I think that'll cause any drama.
Okay. Yeah, I agree completely. I also think that our parents weren't lazy. Meaning, if we want to make our kids stronger, we also have to take control back, right? So for me, especially with my son, because my son is the only one in school still, I have adults. In the morning, there is no phone. There is going to school, there is no phone. You're not looking on social media, you're focusing and you're getting your mind right. You're not even listening to the radio. In the morning, we pray. Every single morning, we pray before he goes to school. And then his drive to school is very focused. It's focused on what's happening that day. It is not social media. It's not his iPad. He's not putting his headphones on. And when he gets out of school, when I am the person that picks him up, it is no AirPods in your ear. We're talking about your day. Right. There's no, oh, I'm looking on my phone. I think that we as parents have become too dependent on this for entertainment instead of entertaining our own and having, as you say, open dialogue and communication. And I think that would break down some of the barriers. I tell my son all the time, and I told my kids, period, you can always come to me and tell me, because that's how I was raised. My dad had an open door policy. It didn't matter how devastating I thought the news was or the event was. I could always have a conversation with him about anything. And when I say anything, same with my mom. My mom would kind of pass it on to my father, and I miss that because my dad, is deceased, and I miss even now as an almost 50-year-old woman not being able to call him and say, do you know that A, B, C, and D happened? And, laughing about it. So I feel like we gotta remove these devices and open our mouths and stop being lazy parents.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, today, tomorrow's never promised. And those are the things like, people take for granted. And once it's gone, it's gone. So you gotta, cherish every moment while you're here.
Sounds good. Well, CJ, we thank you here after the show. Dr. Cass and myself, we greatly appreciate you. Before you go, is there any shameless plugs that you want to plug? The book, anything that you have going on, this is your opportunity to get your shameless plug on.
You can go pick up my books at cjpens.com or at Amazon. QuietStormFoundation.org is my foundation for kids here in the community of Las Vegas, and you can go get you some Zen water back here and some Genius juice if you want. So shameless plug.
All right, I got you. And we're gonna take you up on that going into the hood in Vegas.
All right, I guess. Let me know.
It definitely doesn't look like it exists. I'm telling you.
Oh, it exists.
I believe you. I'm just saying it just don't look like it.
Right. Yeah. That's the paint, the picture they want you to paint.
Right. No, I get it. I overstand. Not understand. Right. I overstand. I got you. So thank you so much, man. We greatly appreciate you.
No, thank you. Appreciate y'all.
Right. And continue to do what you're doing and giving back, man. Just thank you for blessing and passing your blessings forward. We're excited, we're grateful, and we love that.
No, appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, family. after the show, Love Business on Lock. I know you got something that you want to get off your chest.
No, not necessarily anything I want to get off my chest. But Love Business on Lock for me is about accountability and the true meaning of an apology. I was always taught that apology is not for you, it's for the other person, meaning that I can't dictate how I make someone feel. But if someone tells me how I make them feel, then I should respect it and I should apologize. It's not about if I'm right, it's not about if I'm wrong. It's about me being accountable for that person's feelings and how I made them feel. So for me, the biggest thing that's been on me today has been just that accountability and the true meaning of an apology. Because sometimes we have to take ourselves out and realize how our actions are and what our actions do to someone else. Mm-hmm. And we can't always worry about, I'm not gonna say I apologize, or I'm not doing this because I don't feel like I'm right. I don't feel like I'm wrong. If someone tells you, you made me feel a certain way, if someone says, I don't like how that makes me feel, then you apologize, because if you truly didn't have any intentions on doing that, that apology is for them to feel better, not about your ego, not about who you are or what you think, because how you come off, you never know what a person's dealing with in a day. You never know, and vice versa, right? So you have to treat people like you want to be treated. And so I think for me, that's all I have for Love Business on Lock.
All right. What's going on, family? Franchise J Claxton, man. This is your food for thought. A lot of times I always do my food for thoughts because I've experienced something and I want to let you know basically what I experienced and what I got out of whatever I experienced. And recently I have, not that I haven't already realized it, but I realized that I cannot expect somebody to do the things that I would do. You cannot, I'm gonna repeat that, you cannot expect somebody else to move and do the things that you would do as a man or a woman or whatever the case may be. You know, in no way, shape, or form can you expect them to do the things that you do. What will happen is if you expect them to do exactly what you would do, you will stress yourself out. You will drive yourself crazy at the end of the day. You control the things that you can control. That's it. That's it. After that, I can't control nothing you say, nothing you do, how you think, or I can't control the fact that I wanted you to do something, but you didn't do it. I can't control any of that. So you will help yourself a whole lot and relieve a whole lot of stress when you realize you cannot control what somebody else does, and you cannot expect them to move and do the things that you do. You have to realize that. Whatever the case, even you could be 1,000% right, but you cannot expect this other person to think, move, say the things that you would say during anything. So I just want to leave that with you. I want to leave that food with you. Take your time, think about it, take it in. That's your food for thought. Franchise J Claxton, and for Dr. Cass, my partner. I mean, we just thank you for being a part of After the Show. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate CJ Watson for taking time to be on After the Show with us and After the Show with you, to tell all the things that he has going on as far as just making sure the kids are good, writing books, just maintaining, giving back to the community. We thank you for taking time with us right here on After the Show. On behalf of Dr. Cass, I'm the Franchise J Claxton. Y'all be safe.